Good morning, lords and ladies. Welcome back to A Morning with the Lord. It's currently the 16th of the 11th, 2021. Another lovely morning here in Australia, thankfully. Let's jump straight into it here. I've got a story up here, which, mind you, when Googling it, I had to, I'm literally in pakistantoday.com because I couldn't find it on any Australian news sites, at least off a Google search. And this story is about China delivering its most advanced warship to Pakistan. Now it says here, China on Monday delivered to Pakistan the largest and most advanced warship it has ever exported, in a move that highlights the friendship between the two countries and will contribute to the two countries' all-weather strategic cooperative partnership. Designed and built by China, State Shipbuilding Corporation Limited, CSSC, the frigate was delivered to Pakistan Navy in a commissioning ceremony in Shanghai, the company announced in a statement. The Type 054A/P frigate was named the PNS Tagril, according to a statement of the Pakistan Navy. The PNS Tagril is the first hull of 4 Type 054 frigates being constructed for the Pakistan Navy. Noting the ship is a technologically advanced and highly capable platform with enormous surface-to-surface and surface-to-air and underwater firepower, besides extensive surveillance potentials. Being equipped with a state-of-the-art combat management and an electronic warfare system, along with modern self-defense capabilities, the Type 054AP frigate can simultaneously execute a number of naval warfare missions in a highly intense multi-threat environment, the statement said. The frigate is the largest and most advanced warship China has ever exported. The completion and delivery of the vessel is another major achievement of the China-Pakistan friendship and will further enhance the all-weather strategic cooperative partnership between the two countries. Why do news stories always repeat statements? It makes reading rather frustrating. And anyway, continuing. Pakistan ambassador to China, Moon Ul-Haqq, said that the commissioning of the PNS Tagril ushers in a new chapter in Pakistan-China friendship that has matured through the test of time and remains steadfast in all domains. In the context of the overall security paradigm of the region, the Tagril-class frigate will strengthen Pakistan's Navy capabilities to respond to maritime challenges, to ensure seaward defence, maintain peace, stability and the balance of power in the Indian Ocean region, the ambassador said, who also praised the concerted efforts made by China for the landmark achievement to be the timely delivery of the well-equipped and potent frigate, despite the pandemic. See there how it says, in the Indian Ocean region. Came across this story listening to an Indian, I think it's a YouTube news sort of, almost like this podcast, except she looks like she's sitting behind a desk. Yeah, but she's reading out basically news articles. And she proclaimed that India was very concerned about this because it is literally sitting in their backyard in close enough range to do some damage. The story goes on here. I'll just read this last paragraph, and I will leave a link. You can check it out for yourself. The last paragraph says, compared to previous Chinese frigates, the new ship has better air defence capability, as it is equipped with an improved radar system and a larger amount of missiles with a longer range. World-class stealth capabilities. So this is a little bit worrying. I also saw on this news program that Pakistan has made deals with a terrorist group for a ceasefire. Which I'm just trying to look up here. But this is another worrying thing, because this terrorist group is responsible for many deaths, even of the Pakistan people themselves. It says here, the Pakistan TTP truce. Where am I going here? This is IndianDefenseReview.com. It says here, Pakistan Information Minister Fawad Chowdhury stated on November 8th that the Tehrik-e-Taliban, or TTP, has agreed to a complete ceasefire after the talks that the Taliban government in Afghanistan facilitated. Chowdhury also added that the ceasefire will keep on extending with the progress in negotiations, and that the negotiations will follow the law and constitution of Pakistan. Sirajuddin Haqqani, Afghanistan's interior minister and one of the two deputies of Taliban Supreme Leader Mawiyawi Hibatullah Akhundzada. That last name is Akhundzada. Negotiated with the TTP for the Pakistan government. This is not surprising because Sirajuddin, heading the Haqqani network, was positioned by Pakistan's as the deputy leader of the Afghan Taliban a few years back. And Sirajuddin is a wanted terrorist with a reward of $10 million on his head. So this is who Pakistan are making friends with, and like I have been worried after America moving out of the area that China was just going to move down, but from the looks of the reports that I have seen today and yesterday, it seems like they're trying to just at least calm down the terrorist attacks on Pakistan. And then who knows? But the news report I watched yesterday did say that this is a benefit to them because they make money off funding the radicals and whatnot down in Pakistan and on their border and the other countries. So yeah, so there's a few developments in the world the last week or so.
Protesters are gathering on the steps of...
Hold on a sec. Now, we're going to cut back to Australia now. I just wanted to share that story about Pakistan making a truce and China giving them one of their most advanced warship they build, or most advanced warship they've sold anyway, to Pakistan. And Pakistan, like, there's more coming, and Pakistan's sitting them straight in the Indian backyard, which is troubling because anyone who knows India and Pakistan have not got a good reputation for each other. Yes, we're going to move to Australia now, and there's a little story here about the Melbourne protesters. Apparently they have been sleeping on the steps of the Victorian Parliament building, and they must have been doing a good job because no one's been talking about it until now. So they haven't been violent by the sounds of it. But let's have a listen, see what Channel 9 has to say about the situation.
Victoria State Parliament as the government announces a raft of changes to its controversial pandemic bill. Today's Isabella Stashkovsky is in Melbourne this morning. Isa, there's quite a large turnout there now.
Carl, good morning. Well, as you can see, there is a very large presence here this morning. People have slept here overnight. And I want to bring in Peter Little. He's one of the demonstrators and also a lawyer. Peter, what's the atmosphere been like? You've been here all through the night.
Oh, look, it was stunning. We started off with about 3,000 people at 8 o'clock, and I counted physically about 300 still left at 3 p.m. We've had dancing, we've had singing, we've had chanting, we've had so many cars coming past, bipping. We've had great time with the police. They've been very kind to us. It's a wonderful, vibrant atmosphere. We've got a terrific community, and we're just full of love for everybody. It's just been incredible, and we just want this bill ended. It's a very tyrannical bill. It's something that shouldn't be introduced in a democratic society, and we're going to be here every day until it's defeated. So congratulations everyone for coming out. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Peter. And I have to say, it has been a very different atmosphere here this morning, yesterday as well. Everyone's just really getting along. We haven't seen that argy-bargy that we have seen in previous protests, and I think everyone here that we've spoken to certainly is hoping it remains so. As you said, 7 amendments so far. We'll see how they get debated throughout the week. These people are all planning to be here, Carl, throughout the entire week.
Good on them. A round of applause there. A public round of applause on the news. Let's join in. That's what we need to see. And police are nice. Everyone's showing that they only care. That's great. Makes you proud. Because Australia, we got plenty of yobbos. We got plenty of people that want to fight. But, you know, there's lawyers there. They've got leaders telling them, no, this is how you do it. And that's what we need. That's exactly what we need. Another round of applause. That is what makes you proud. That stuff right there. Well, we'll read a little bit of the story. I think old mate outlined it pretty well there, but we'll just have a bit of a gander at what's written. It says here, protesters opposing the Victorian government's proposed pandemic bill remain on the steps of the state parliament this morning, despite last-minute changes to the legislation. About 70 demonstrators camped out on the steps overnight as the Victorian government agreed to change the proposed pandemic bill. Key crossbench MPs Fiona Patten, Andy Medic and Samantha Ratnam backed crucial amendments, The Age reports. Fines for breaching public health orders will be halved, and the time frame to release the reasons behind pandemic decisions reduced under the amendments proposed by the Labor government. The time frame to release the reasons behind pandemic decisions reduced. It's incredible that's even in there. I guess it makes sense. You would try and outline that sort of stuff, but fuck, if they can think that far ahead, why do we have all these issues? Ooh, I just spotted a little sponsored link here saying scientists claim they've found Noah's Ark. I think we should click on that. Anyway, another paragraph here. But the changes have not gone far enough for the protesters who were still chanting "Kill the Bill" and vowed to continue demonstrating. People don't want this bill to happen, a protester told 9 News. If it happens here in Melbourne, it is going to happen all around the country, and every other state is willing the Melbourne people to fight this. Thousands of protesters marched through the CBD at the weekend, also opposing the proposed legislation. A number of politicians attended the protests, with former Liberal MP Craig Kelly, who is now part of Clive Palmer's United Australia Party, addressing the crowd. The Public Health and Wellbeing Amendment, Pandemic Management Bill 2021, passed through the lower house in October, and a vote in the upper house is expected this week. So there you go. Protests continue in Melbourne. And to a great quality. Now, this is a sponsored ad, so I bet you this is clickbait, but I got to hear what they think about Noah's Ark. So scientists believe that they may have discovered 2,000-year-old remains of Noah's Ark. One of the most famous biblical stories is of Noah's Ark. Even if you've never picked up a Bible in your life, chances are that you have at least heard of the tale. Interestingly, many ancient cultures share very similar stories that are even older than the version in Genesis. This has led contemporary historians and archaeologists eager to seek out the evidence of the existence of such an ark and how. They believe that they may finally found a huge piece of the puzzle. And that's all of the article. Mad. And the rest is just ads. I can't. And there's some big list about why Al's mad. Okay. Well, that was a bust. Okay. Leave a link anyway. But that was a bust. So, I have another story up here.
From the marker for everything
Quiet, you.
comes the pen for everything else.
So we got an ad.
Smooth, bold, and vibrant Sharpie S Gel. Sharpie
this-
S Gel. The power of Sharpie, now in a gel pen.
Now this story is in regards to Xbox. And it's the title here is Xbox 20-year anniversary. World watches powerful Australian tribute to gaming legend. And there's a bit of a video here. Let's have a listen, see what they have to say.
It's crazy to think that the Xbox is now 20 years old. Who better to chat to about that than the boss of Xbox Worldwide, Phil Spencer. Phil, thank you so much for your time. I couldn't believe it had been 2 decades when I dug this thing out of my garage.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things every year, what they say, as you get older, the days are short and the years are long. You know, I guess the other way around. Days are long, the years are short. You know, I think about it. It seems 2 decades that we've been working on Xbox, because you're always looking at the next horizon. You're seeing the next challenge, what's coming in the next holiday season, what games are you working on. So I think this is a nice moment, both for the people that are here, for the people that were part of creating Xbox and the community, to just take notice of that stretch of time. I love your story about the original Xbox. You were talking about that. And just all that we've been a part of over the years has just been really fantastic, and obviously just like the most important part of my professional life.
When you reflect on those 20 years, does anything in particular stand out to you? I mean, you've had so many iterations, and the focus has shifted from, you know, the raw power of a box to the Kinect to the Media One box, and now we're talking about things like Game Pass and xCloud. I mean, as a company, you really haven't stood still.
Well, thanks for that. You talk about Game Pass, you talk about xCloud. We can look forward. We know what were the stuff that we're working on for the future. But that innovation is what our customers really strive for, and the things that they push us for. And I love the fact that things like Game Pass and xCloud are really coming into their own. And Gaming All Up has just been such an incubator for some of the world's greatest kind of innovations, and I like that Xbox we continue to push ourselves to do interesting things.
Like you said, it all does come back to the games, and I think there's something quite poetic about the fact that the game that launched Xbox 20 years ago, that pretty much everyone picked up, Halo Combat Evolved, is now going to be bookending the year where you celebrate your 20th anniversary. I mean, ultimately, it's one of the most highly anticipated games this holiday season, and I'm sure that resonates with you as well.
But what if it's a friend?
It isn't.
Yeah, I've said it many times. Xbox wouldn't be here without Halo Combat Evolved. I think it was the signature moment for our launch of the original Xbox, the one that you have there. It's the thing that really gave us a foothold in why we existed as a platform. And then you think about Halo's role in Xbox Live and what that meant as it grew. And to be sitting here 20 years later after, Bungie, who's also the original creators of Halo, having an anniversary, shout out to Bungie's anniversary, Halo turning 20, Xbox turning 20. It's really nice to see both the anticipation for Halo Infinite coming in December from so many of the fans, but also, as you said, that kind of seminal moment of Halo here at that anniversary is very special.
Now we know Xbox isn't scared to celebrate these things, Phil. I mean, you just dropped a car from a helicopter above Mildura here in Victoria to mark the launch of Forza Horizon 5, so I'm sure whatever you're planning has to be pretty big, right?
It's really going to be all about the community. We're going to bring a lot of people together. Obviously, our original plan was to do this in person. We're not going to be able to do that, but I think we'll be able to reach more people. One of the things we've learned during the pandemic is how to expand what we think about in terms of a celebration, and we're going to be doing some really neat things with the community, with the fans, giving them an opportunity to share, and some special kind of things that we haven't talked about yet. So I'm looking forward to that, and the energy right now, and both inside the team and out in the community is just so fantastic.
I've been given a very, very brief sneak peek of a choir that you guys got together in Sydney to sing some of the Halo theme music, and honestly, if it is the song I believe it's going to be, then it will give a lot of people some chills.
With the Australian market, I think about, we're doing the stay and play hotel thing right now. I remember the Forza Horizon, what was it, 3? I was out for the launch we did the base in Australia. I mean, Australia has been such a base for Xbox for so many years. Every time I'm there, the fans come out. It's such a fantastic place for gaming and for Xbox. And absolutely, we're going to be doing some special things in the market. It's an important market for us.
Obviously, it's one thing to get through 20 years, but as you said, it's about innovation, pushing forward for the next 20. And I mean, some of the deals you've done recently to set yourself up from a games perspective with Bethesda is exceptionally exciting, especially when you look forward to things like Starfield. I mean, adding to that repertoire of, Back 4 Blood, which just came out. I'm having so much fun with that. And obviously, we know that Forza Horizon 5 is coming out, and even things like Perfect Dark, which, as an old Nintendo 64 kid who graduated to the Xbox, I am super excited about.
We've made a lot of investments. You mentioned Bethesda, which was obviously the biggest. I think back, Double Fine we brought in. They just shipped Psychonauts 2, probably my game of the year this year. I think about Compulsion, starting the initiative to work on Perfect Dark. Playground, which is now launching Forza Horizon. The teams have really come into their own. I'm really proud of the launches we've had. We're sitting here just last week launching Age of Empires 4, another great game. And we've nearly 23 different teams now, first-party teams, building building games for our first party, building games for Game Pass, building games on PC, for xCloud. The momentum is very strong. We've had tremendous support from Microsoft. And Microsoft is obviously a very large, multifaceted company, but we're all in and being in the games industry, game business, and I love the way that Satya Nadella, the CEO, the board is, let's go be a real leader in the games industry, and it's fantastic to be part of the team right now.
Looking back, is there anything you would have done slightly differently?
I'm not a big regret person. I mean, I've made more mistakes than anybody. There's no doubt about that, and I can look. But I think we are kind of a culmination of the decisions that we've made and the outcome. So I don't sit back and kind of think about decisions that I would remake. Obviously, there's things that have happened in the past that if I could choose not to have them happen, I would. But when I think about where we are right now, I think the team has really just internalized some of the missteps maybe we've had in the past or lack of focus on the gaming customer. And I think we've come out of those instances stronger than we've ever been. The need to innovate, as you mentioned earlier, the need to be transparent with our customers about where we're going and what that means for them. And that we kind of carry the benefit of the successes that we've had and the learning from the lack of successes that have been out there. And I wouldn't change anything over the 20 years if it meant changing where we are today, because I'm really confident and proud of where we are.
Alright, we'll end that there. Good on Xbox. I'd just like to say, him saying that Australia is such a great gaming base. It's true, there's lots of gamers here. Grew up playing games, was there for the first Xbox. And graduated to that from computer, I guess. Old mate said Nintendo 64, but he was obviously one of those known PlayStation fans, but I bet they couldn't say fucking PlayStation on the interview. But, he talked about Xbox hits and misses, and it's like, well, I really do hope they start changing that, because there are a lot of shit games that have come out. Disappointing games. But, it's going to be interesting to see what Xbox is up to in the future, especially after Google announced that what do they call it? Don't even remember now. But anyway, Facebook trying to go all into the VR and stuff. I'm excited, to be honest. In many ways, VR is something that we always wanted growing up, but a lot of people, I think we've had too much time to think about it too. I have the VR for the PlayStation, and I have to admit I am pretty impressed. The only thing is, it's hard to play it for long periods because you get almost like motion sickness. But other than that, it's pretty cool. I was pretty impressed with it because I had very low expectations, I guess. But yes, as you can see, it has been a pretty slow news day. There's been some announcements relating to COVID, and I heard the report this morning from the Health Minister of New South Wales saying that, all the news and that is going to change. They're no longer tracking single cases and whatnot, which we covered in a earlier podcast. And I've been complaining about because we're still hearing, all the same stories that they said they wouldn't be doing. But at the same time, they did, I saw an article there saying interstate travel now allowed in Queensland. And it's like bloody fantastic. But we're still, outside country, international travel started before national travel. What are they doing? Yeah, so it's going to be interesting over the next week or so to hear and see how everything is going on the front of changes that are to come. Anyway, well, lords and ladies, I am going to leave you there. A nice short one today, but as I said, there ain't much to talk about. Again, today is the 16th of the 11th, 2021. I'm Lord Duffield, and thank you for listening.